Delaware. Yes, this is wonderful Delaware. But most of all, this is Delaware, its people. The young and the not quite as young as they used to be. The women who raise children. The men who raise tall corn and tall buildings. Big bridges and big industries. The people who live close to the land and who live close to the sea. It all began here, over 150 years before the cradle of American independence began to rock. The bay that Henry Hudson discovered in 1609. The land that was later named Delaware in honor of Lord Delaware. The rocks where Peter Minuit landed a band of Swedish colonists. As time passed, the traditions of the state to be were already beginning to take shape. Religious freedom, education, farming, local government. It was Caesar Rodney who made his famous ride to cast Delaware's tie-breaking vote in favor of the Declaration of Independence. It was John Dickinson who was the penman of the Revolution. It was the State House at Dover where the Constitution was ratified, giving Delaware the unique distinction of becoming the first state. Yes, Delaware was a great many things, a living example of man's right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. But today, Delaware is a great many things. First of all, Delaware is land on which to grow things, acre after acre of rich, productive soil, 500,000 acres of harvested croplands. And behind this abundance, the men who carry on a heritage handed down to them through almost 3 centuries. It's land on which to raise broilers. Year after year, Delaware is a leader in producing broilers. Almost 100 million a year, fast maturing, well-meated chickens. Think broiler chickens, think Delaware. Land on which cattle graze. Green grass for brown and white cows. Dairy is big business in Delaware. Land on which peaches grow. And apples, too. Delaware is one of the largest early apple-producing states. It is one of the few that can market apples to bite into before the 1st of August. Land on which to hold a state fair. The Delaware State Fair at Harrington. Lots of fun, but it's deadly serious when the judges start to hand out the awards. And so it goes. Whether it's the biggest watermelon or the finest in livestock. And there's always something to buy, from a 10-cent surprise package to the latest in modern farm equipment. Most of all, the state fair means a natural pride that comes from another year of working the fertile land. Delaware is a veritable market garden, strategically situated within 250 miles of approximately 1/3 of the population of the United States. And to bring Delaware's bountiful harvests to this rich market, there is land on which to build a network of transportation, modern express highways with trucks that cross the state in all directions. Connecting Delaware and the markets to the north is the Delaware Memorial Bridge. And to bring all kinds of products for tomorrow's living to every city in the country, there is a modern system of railroads. Delaware is also the sea for shipping, for the cargo ships that come up the bay in all kinds of weather. These ships are guided by the men of Delaware's Pilot Association, who know these waters like the palm of their hand. The sea is also the Chesapeake and Delaware Canal, a vital link of our inland waterway. Long miles are saved as the canal provides a shortcut between ports on the Chesapeake Bay and those on the Delaware River. A port on the river where the cargo ships can tie up? Wilmington's Marine Terminal. Wilmington, a deep water port with extensive docking facilities for the ever-growing commerce of Delaware. The sea is the home for the Cape May-Lewes Ferry. Just over an hour from New Jersey to Delaware with your engine turned off. A fast and pleasant route between the north and the south. The sea for serious and the sea for fun. Delaware is the air, too. Dover Air Force Base, home of a key installation of the Military Air Transport Service, the nation's global airlift force. At Dover, MATS maintains a state of readiness to airlift cargo and personnel anywhere in the world. Dover Air Force Base, economically important to Dover, with its thousands of employees and dependents. Dover Air Force Base, strategically important to the United States because it is a vital part of the defense of our country. For commerce, the greater Wilmington Airport. Important freight that must be thousands of miles away tomorrow. Key personnel who must reach their destinations tonight. To carry them, the planes that shrink the distances between Delaware and the far-off cities of the world. The land, the sea, and the air, all of these are foundations on which to build a state of growth and opportunity. A place in the sun for industrial expansion. Yes, Delaware is industry. Industry of all sizes. Delaware's industrial heritage dates back to the colonial period. Here was the beginning of the DuPont Company. Today, the E.I. DuPont de Nemours Chemical Research Center is one of the world's largest. Yes, Delaware has always been and still is a good home for industry. Today, the Wilmington area is one of the chief chemical manufacturing centers of the world. Look at a map of Delaware, and you see industry almost everywhere. Nylon mills in Seaford, latex plants in Dover, leather in Wilmington. Clothing is made in Harrington, Milton, Laurel, and Georgetown. Rubber hose in Wilmington, oils in Christiana, electrical home appliances in Ogletown, paper in Newark, paper boxes in Brandywine Springs, luggage in Clayton, dental supplies in Milford. Over 30 communities have one or more food canning and packing plants. Dover is the home of Jell-O, cucumbers in Seaford, tomatoes in Dagsboro, asparagus in Georgetown. All sorts of industries, all sorts of room to build new industries. The rate of industrial growth in Delaware is spectacular because Delaware has the right climate for the growth of industry. Not only a good physical climate, but a good economic climate, too. Here is a friendly to business state government committed to a favorable tax structure and favorable corporation laws. Here is a state planning office that is concerned with the fiscal and physical environment of the state for both private and public investors. Delaware also provides assistance to industry in both commencing or expanding operations, putting her in an enviable position with neighboring states. Keeping pace with the state's dynamic growth is an ever-expanding system of communications. And in Delaware, communications is the Diamond State Telephone Company. Today, there are new sounds and new wonders in the wonderful world of communications. Touch tone, a push-button instrument used to interrogate a computer. Data phone service, business data machines that talk to other machines. Automatic long-distance transmission of facts and figures at incredible speeds. And as the scope of industry widens and new industries appear, there is a constant demand for the men and women who form the backbone of Delaware's industrial strength. Its large and well-trained labor pool, made up of both skilled and semi-skilled workers, adaptable to the diversification of industry. Delaware and its people have a practical, working philosophy of economic growth, of forward-looking industrial expansion. With this expansion, there is a constant need for young men and young women who have been trained in technical skills. And Delaware meets this need because Delaware is education. Vocational centers for the training and placement of qualified young people in industry. The University of Delaware in Newark. It has one of the finest campus settings in the East, and more than 10,000 young men and women are under instruction as undergraduate, graduate, and extension students. The university's agricultural school has an experimental farm, a practical proving ground where research helps improve practices and business methods for the farmers and the various food industries of Delaware. The State College in Dover also enjoys an enviable reputation as a school of higher learning. All of Delaware's schools are keeping pace with the state's fast growth. Among the first states to provide free education for children, Delaware is proudly conscious of the responsibility of this heritage. Its dedication to provide the finest teaching and the most progressive teaching facilities possible. A prime example of this is ETV, a closed-circuit educational television network that covers the entire public school system with the best educational material available at almost 5,000 TV outlets. And for the people who work in Delaware, Delaware is a good place to live. New industries breed new communities where families can live comfortably and happily, where every man can be king of his own castle. In Delaware, there is a home for everyone. For those who like the sound of the surf, for those who like suburban living, a home for the man who likes to garden, and a home for the man who doesn't. And wherever there are new homes, as if by magic, new shopping centers appear. Beautiful new shopping centers where you can buy almost everything conveniently. When it comes to leisure time, just name your pleasure. How about spending your vacation at Rehoboth Beach, Lewis, Bethany, or Fenwick Island? Wonderful Delaware has a climate that is tailored for active living. For the horse racing fan, there are trotters and pacers at Harrington, Georgetown, and Brandywine raceways. Racing on the flat, at Delaware Park. And as a part of good living, Delaware is culture too. The Delaware Art Center at Wilmington houses many fine collections of paintings. One sees the vitality of Delaware artists almost everywhere. For the theater lover, there are Broadway shows at the Playhouse. And for the music lover, opera, ballet, and the Wilmington Symphony. And for those who like to walk on old cobblestone streets, enjoy the charm of colonial architecture, Delaware is living history. The old courthouse in Newcastle, the Corbett Sharp House in Odessa, the Hagley Museum in Wilmington, the old State House on the Green at Dover, Fort Delaware on Peapatch Island, the Henry Francis DuPont Winter Tour Museum. With 100 period rooms, it is the world's finest museum of American decorative arts. Churches like Barrett's Chapel, the cradle of Methodism in America. Yes, Delaware is churches too. Churches of all denominations for people of all faiths. Emmanuel Episcopal, built on the Green at Newcastle. Old Droyers Presbyterian in Odessa. Old churches and new churches. All of them devoted to man's worship of God. Yes, Delaware is a good place to live. Wonderful Delaware. It's called the Diamond State. Perhaps because one writer said, Delaware is like a diamond, diminutive, but having within it inherent value. Or maybe it was because Thomas Jefferson called it a jewel among the states. Like a diamond, it has many facets. It's industrial, it's agricultural, it's big business, it's peaceful, it's modern, it's historic, it's a vacation land, it's home. Yes, Delaware is many things to many people. A place where people are working in the present, but looking ahead to the future, so that Delaware will keep on growing, keep on being the state of opportunity. These are the people of Delaware, from all walks of life, always conscious that they are building a better Delaware. They have their feet planted firmly in one of the richest heritages that America has to offer. Their hands are filled and busy with the fast-growing Delaware of today, and their heads are high in the dream of the wonderful Delaware of tomorrow.